Hold your breath for 10 seconds. Starting now. Feel the pressure building in your chest. Feel the desperate urge of your lungs demanding oxygen. We look up at the night sky and see a peaceful canvas of twinkling lights. We paint murals of galaxies and name stars after our ancient gods. This is a fatal misunderstanding of our reality. Space is not a canvas. It is a highly efficient execution chamber. Today, you are going to walk through the 9 distinct methods the cosmos has engineered to terminate your existence. You will feel every single one. And by the time you finally exhale, you will understand why survival is the greatest anomaly in the universe. You cross the boundary, the Kármán line, 62 miles above the dirt. Your spacecraft door blows open. You are exposed to the raw vacuum. There is no air here. In 1966, in a Houston testing facility, a technician named Jim LeBlanc experienced a sudden depressurization in a vacuum chamber. He survived to tell the tale. But his memory is terrifying. He felt the saliva on his tongue begin to boil before he lost consciousness. This is exactly what happens to you. The pressure drops instantly. The gases inside your body have nowhere to go but out. Do not follow your instinct. Do not hold your breath. If you do, your lungs will rupture violently. Your chest cavity will flood with blood. At the Armstrong limit, just 12 miles up, water boils at human body temperature. The blood in your veins turns to gas. Nitrogen bubbles form in your joints. Your skin inflates like a grotesque balloon. Your eyes bulge from their sockets. You do not freeze instantly like in the movies. You suffocate while your own internal fluids cook you from the inside. Perhaps you secure a pressure suit. You stop your blood from boiling. But now you face the next layer of the cosmic slaughterhouse. Temperature in a vacuum is a binary nightmare. There is no air to soften the extremes. You are entirely at the mercy of the stars. Step into the direct sunlight in Earth orbit. The temperature spikes to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This heat melts plastics. It will bake the flesh inside your suit. Your protective gear turns into a suffocating oven. Now, step into the shadow of the Earth. Instant plunge, 250 degrees below zero. In 2021, the James Webb Space Telescope launched to Lagrange Point 2. It required a massive 5-layer sun shield just to stop its instruments from melting or freezing. You do not have a sun shield. Without advanced thermal control, the water inside your cells freezes into sharp, jagged ice crystals. These microscopic blades pierce your cell walls. Your fingers turn black. Your tissue dies. You are either burned to ash or shattered like glass. It depends entirely on which way you are facing. You hide inside a thick metal ship to escape the heat and the cold. But space has weapons that pass right through solid walls. Radiation. In 1958, scientist James Van Allen used the Explorer-1 satellite to discover intense bands of radiation surrounding our planet. These are the Van Allen belts. Beyond this magnetic shield lies a relentless, invisible storm. Solar flares vomit millions of tons of highly charged particles. Deep space cosmic rays blast inward from dying stars. These are invisible bullets moving at nearly the speed of light. When they hit your body, they do not leave visible bullet holes. They do something much worse. They tear through your cells and shatter your DNA strands. Your genetic code is violently scrambled. If a massive solar storm hits your ship, you will experience acute radiation sickness. Your stomach lining dies. Severe nausea begins. Internal bleeding follows. Your immune system collapses completely. Your own body forgets how to repair itself. You slowly dissolve from the inside out over a few agonizing weeks. You coat your ship in heavy lead shielding to block the radiation. You feel secure. Then you hear a deafening crack. Space is incredibly empty, but it is also littered with microscopic shrapnel, tiny meteoroids, and human-made debris. In 1983, during the STS-7 mission, a fleck of white paint struck the window of the Space Shuttle Challenger. It was just a speck of paint, but it was traveling at over 17,000 miles per hour. It gouged a massive crater into the incredibly thick glass. Now imagine that impact on your spacesuit or your hull. A piece of rock the size of a grain of sand carries the kinetic energy of a bowling ball dropped from an airplane. If it hits your arm, it does not just break the bone. The sheer velocity vaporizes your flesh instantly. It leaves a gaping, cauterized hole the size of an apple. The shockwave liquefies your nearby organs. Your pressure suit shatters. The vacuum takes over again. You are torn apart by grains of dust. You decide deep space is too dangerous. You head for a planet. You need solid ground to hide. But the planets are not designed for you. Let us visit Venus. In 1970, the Soviet Venera 7 probe landed on the Venusian surface. It lasted less than an hour before it was completely destroyed. The atmospheric pressure on Venus is 90 times heavier than on Earth. Walking there feels like standing 3,000 feet underwater. Your ribcage would instantly snap. Your chest would collapse into your lungs under the crushing weight. If you somehow survive the pressure, the temperature is 900 degrees. It is hot enough to melt lead. You burst into flames instantly. But it gets worse elsewhere. Let us look at exoplanet HD 189733b. It was discovered in 2005 by astronomers at the Hope Province Observatory. It looks like a beautiful deep blue world. But that color comes from silicate particles in the atmosphere. It rains molten glass, and the wind blows at 5,000 miles per hour. If you step outside there, the horizontal glass rain does not just cut you. It shreds your skin, your muscles, and your bones into a fine bloody mist in a fraction of a second. The ground itself is a meat grinder. You retreat to Earth. You hide under our atmosphere and our magnetic field. You think you are completely safe. But the universe has a sniper rifle. It is called a gamma-ray burst. In 1967, United States Vela satellites were looking for illegal nuclear tests on Earth. Instead, they detected massive flashes of radiation coming from deep space. When a massive star collapses into a black hole, it funnels unimaginable energy into two tight beams. These beams shoot across the cosmos at the speed of light. They contain more energy in a few seconds than our sun will produce in its entire 10 billion-year lifespan. If one of these bursts happens to be pointed directly at Earth from thousands of light years away, we will have no warning. The beam travels at light speed. You cannot see it coming. It hits the atmosphere and instantly strips away our protective ozone layer. The sky changes color. Without the ozone, the lethal ultraviolet radiation from our own sun floods the surface. Your skin cooks. The oceans boil away. The global food chain collapses entirely. You starve to death, assuming you do not burn alive on the very first day. Perhaps you are curious. You want to see the source of these cosmic horrors. You travel toward a black hole. In 1916, Carl Schwarzschild used the theory of general relativity to prove that a massive object could collapse into a point of infinite density, a singularity. In 2015, the LIGO Observatory actually felt the ripples of two black holes colliding. You fly toward one. As you approach, you cross the event horizon, the point of no return. Here, the laws of gravity become a literal torture device. The gravitational pull on your feet is vastly stronger than the pull on your head. This creates an extreme tidal force. Scientists call the physical result spaghettification. It sounds like a joke. It is absolutely not. You are stretched. First, your joints dislocate with a sickening pop. Your spine snaps in multiple places. Then, your skin and muscles tear apart under the sheer mechanical tension. You are ripped into smaller and smaller pieces. Chunks of flesh, then individual cells, then atoms. Long before you reach the absolute darkness of the center, you are reduced to a stream of subatomic particles spiraling into the abyss. You are erased from the physical universe. You avoid the black holes. You stay far away from dying stars. But you cannot escape space itself. The very fabric of reality is hostile. In 1998, two independent teams of astronomers studying distant supernovas discovered something terrifying. The expansion of the universe is accelerating. A mysterious force called dark energy is pushing everything apart. Let us move billions of years into the future. The dark energy grows stronger. First, it pushes the distant galaxies away from each other faster than light. The night sky goes completely black. The Hubble Space Telescope would see absolutely nothing. But the force keeps growing. It rips our own galaxy apart. Stars are flung into the endless void. Then, the force overcomes the gravity of our solar system. The planets are torn away from the dying sun. Finally, it comes for you. The expansion of space becomes so violent that the electromagnetic forces holding your body together fail. Your arms detach from your torso. Your cells separate from each other. The very atoms that make up your brain and your heart are violently ripped apart by the expanding void. The universe murders you by erasing the concept of structure entirely. Maybe the dark energy stops. Maybe the Great Rip never happens. You survive until the very end of time. But the universe has one final, inescapable weapon: entropy. In 1850, physicist Rudolf Clausius laid down the laws of thermodynamics. Everything moves from order to disorder. Heat always dissipates. Fast forward trillions of years. The last red dwarf star burns out. The black holes slowly evaporate through Hawking radiation. The universe becomes a soup of cold, dead photons. The temperature approaches absolute zero. This is the heat death. What happens to you in this era? There is no energy left to power your heartbeat. There is no heat to sustain the electrical signals in your brain. You do not burn. You do not freeze violently. You do not tear apart. Your body simply ceases to function. The chemical reactions that make life possible are no longer permitted by the fundamental laws of physics. The universe does not just kill you. It makes your existence mathematically impossible. Look at the progression. From the sudden violence of boiling blood in a local vacuum, to the microscopic shredding of your DNA by invisible storms, to the crushing weight of alien skies, up to the sheer gravitational dismemberment of a black hole. And finally, the quiet, inescapable decay of time itself. Space is a gauntlet of overlapping traps. But here is the terrifying realization. The cosmos is not angry with you. It is not trying to kill you out of malice. The vacuum, the radiation, the gravity, the dark energy, they are completely blind forces. They have no face. They have no intent. The antagonist of this story is not a villain. It is the overwhelming, infinite indifference of nature. Think of the Voyager 1 probe. Right now, it is sailing entirely alone in interstellar space. It is freezing. It is nearly dead. It is moving further into a darkness that does not care about the golden record it carries. It is just a piece of metal sinking into an endless, silent ocean. The universe does not care that you are soft. It does not care that you are fragile. It does not even know you are there. So release your breath. Inhale the oxygen in your room. Feel the steady rhythm of your chest rising and falling. You are standing on a microscopic island of safety, surrounded by an infinite ocean of death, and the tide is always coming in.